are here to wake up, wake up, wake up together.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up. Hello everyone. This is Cassie here.
And Victoria.
And we are jumping on today to talk about, well, this beautiful quote sums it up perfectly. It's like, it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And both of us have begun our journey on the paths that we're on based on this realization, based on the realization that like things just aren't right. Certain things just aren't adding up. And it feels like there's a lot missing in modern society. And yeah, that was a big thing for me. And like personally realizing through my journey with going to school and coming out of school and wondering like what to do for a job and all of that stuff, really realizing that we're bred to go into these lives where we're workaholics, we're go, we're working, 40 hours a week, 50, 60 if we want a little extra on the side or if we want to show that we're a hard worker. And it just like it started not adding up to me.
Yeah, I can relate. I think it just led to a feeling for myself of like a deep disconnection to myself and a deep disconnection to life. It felt like before, about 5 years ago, I started to really get comfortable with life because I looked all around me and I was like, wow, all my friends are getting married. They have these jobs, they're starting to have babies. And they're doing this thing, and it just didn't feel right for me. I was looking around and feeling deeply dissatisfied with my own life and kind of like questioning myself because I was in a really good relationship, but I didn't feel like I could commit and get married and do that whole thing because something felt like it was deeply missing within my being. And so for myself, it was a moment in time of asking for help, like feeling so disconnected. And what I've come to realize is that disconnection was a deep disconnection with myself, with my inner world. Looking outside and trying to fit in with the whole having a job, getting married, having kids thing felt deeply dissatisfying to me because I wasn't connected to my own self. And so that catapulted myself onto a journey of self-discovery, really. And that self-discovery has changed my life. Ultimately, it's made me feel more connected to myself and more connected to my life, more connected to my purpose, which is really exciting. And yeah.
God, yeah, you list, the job and the marriage and all of that, and it's like we're so conditioned to be looking outside of ourselves for validation, for telling ourselves we're good enough, telling ourselves we did a good job, that we're being a successful human, a successful adult. I mean, I have these socks that says, "I'm sorry, I can't adult today," and I just wish that they would say, "I'm sorry, like I don't do this adulting thing," because there's so many rules. It seems there's so many rules to adulting. And then on the other side of that, there's so many distractions. These things are distractions. They're distracting us from what's really important, which is that connection with ourselves, and tuning in and learning how to be with our emotions, how to manage our emotions, how to move through our emotions. And it's like none of this stuff is taught, and it's all the very core foundational part of being human, I feel.
Yeah, and finding that the better you are in touch with yourself, the better we can relate to other people as well in our lives. We've been talking quite a bit about relationships, and nobody's really taught us how to do this relationship thing, whether it be a friendship relationship or a sister relationship or whatever it is. It's really challenging when you're so disconnected from yourself, always looking outside for gratification and satisfaction. And then not being able to relate to others in your life because of that deep disconnection within. And ultimately, when we do have that connection inside, we're able to relate to one another more. We can be more empathic with one another, we can be more understanding, and first with ourselves, understanding our internal environment, because if we go into any type of relationship when there's no understanding of what's going inside, we tend to project our issues onto one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, yeah. And then you look at the rates of divorce and everything happening in the world, and disconnection from relationships, and people are kind of okay with it, but it's like, wow, this is mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think over 50% of people end up divorcing.
Wow.
And I feel like that for myself was like, there's no way I'm getting married until I really understand this internal environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a journey. That's a journey in itself. I'm very happy to see that more like Eastern style traditions are starting to become more popular in our society. You know, things like meditation, things like using yoga as a practice to connect with yourself, paying attention to your breath. You know, you are a breathwork facilitator, and the power of the breath is just so incredible. And all of these are such amazing tools that we can use. She can say
we have
hello.
a visitor.
All of those are such amazing tools that we can use to connect more deeply with ourselves, connect back in with ourselves, and really start to look at, like, who am I? What is my life experience? What are my feelings? How do I move through them? How do I navigate them? And that is really the work, and in my perspective, that's why we're here. It's not to do the chasing game, the chasing these external things, which, as I said before, feel like distractions. It's like, as we reach one milestone, we have another milestone that society tells us we need to get to next. It's like the finish college, the job, the marriage, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's never an end point. There's literally never an end point if you go by what society kind of tells us is our track, is our path. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, I have to do all these things, no time to connect with myself. And that's how we've been living for so long, it seems like to me.
Which is deeply dissatisfying, like deeply dissatisfying. And, you know, we speak a lot about being emotional beings and how we're meant to feel. And to feel is how we, well, first of all, how we how we end up healing ourselves, because from 0 to 7 years old, we're actually programmed, if you want to call it that way. We are conditioned in our environments that we're brought up in, and this is you know, scientific evidence. This is psychological based, based in deep psychological studies, that we are programmed from 0 to 7 with whatever environment that we have been brought up in. And so we have these emotions within us from a very young age that end up really like being part of our life, and how we interact with the world is based on how we've been programmed as a child. And so when these emotions are within us that aren't ours, and we haven't felt them properly, they start to rule our lives. And so we talk a lot about feeling emotions, and the reason for that is because when we don't feel them and they're stored in our body, they start to take over, in a sense. They start to run our lives. It's the lens in which we start to look through, is through that emotional lens. And so as we allow ourselves to connect with ourselves and to feel the things that are within us, we can ground those things that have been programmed into us, and we become more authentically ourselves. We can start to create our own reality based on the things that we stand for and we want in our own lives, not based on the programming that has been programmed into us from a young child. And so I think just knowing that information is huge.
Yeah.
And it's super empowering, because we can start to shift our lives with that knowledge, right? We can start to shift who we are and how we interact with the world, just knowing that information. And yeah, so
it's huge. And it's the filter through which we see everything in our life. Like this past conditioning, past experiences, especially from childhood, the programming, it kind of creates a lens, you know, as if we're looking through glasses. We're looking through those glasses at everything in our life. And so we rarely ever, or my experience was, when I'm looking through those lenses of past trauma, past emotions, past experiences, I'm not seeing clearly. I'm seeing through my own lens, through my own perspective, through my own filter. And doing the work to come back inside and looking at what's happening inside and discovering how to discovering how to tune in with your emotions, how to feel them, let them be, give them permission to be, and then transmute them, let them flow through the body to be released. By doing that, we actually do shed all of those layers of the conditioning and the filters and the glasses we have on, and then we're actually present. Then we're actually living in the moment. Because for me, before I started doing any of this work, I, thought I was living in the moment, but really I was living through a lens of the past. It's like every new situation that comes up would be felt and seen by me through this lens of the past. And so how much are we really seeing what's truly happening in front of our eyes? How much are we really seeing clearly?
Absolutely, yeah. And then you start to see that actually it's probably not very clear, because it's becoming more clear, the year 2020, the year of clear vision. It's becoming more clear that we're all seeing through different lenses. That's why there's so much chaos in the world and so much conflict, really, is because we're all seeing through different lenses. But when we can get really present with one another and see through the present moment, then our differences are okay, because I can sit here and listen to what you have to share. It might be different to my view, but if I'm looking at you from a present moment experience, I'm just going to hear what she has to say and not react to it from my past experiences. I'm going to listen to her, let her share what she has to say, and it's not going to be a big deal because I'm not reacting from another place. I'm here now listening. So it's really how we heal ourselves and how we heal the world. It's really about an inner journey, about going inside, finding out what are my feelings, what is happening inside, what are the patterns that I keep repeating in my life. And once we have an awareness of what that is, then we can start to switch and create our own world, on our own reality, on what are the patterns, not patterns, what are the things that I want to be doing in my life, how do I want to be living my life, how do I want to share myself with another person instead of being run from the past. And that's really liberating, and I think that's what humanity is really needing right now.
Yeah, there's so much chaos going on, and the chaos externally is a reflection of the chaos that's happening internally. As we've shared before, like, we're not taught how to do this. We're not taught how to handle emotions and how to process things and let things move through to be released. And so we push down, we suppress, we deflect, we project it onto others.
We drink.
Yeah, distract.
Yeah.
So many fun verbs that we do to be like, I will not feel you. And for me, it was mainly unconscious. It wasn't like I felt something come up and then I was like, no, get down. It was like so embedded into my days that I didn't even really I wasn't even really able to tune in and feel when things were coming up. And so really, I feel tuning back into ourselves is the way that we mend all the chaos in the world.
Yeah, feel the emotions that are inside, allow the emotion to move through just by feeling it. Energy in motion, we've said this before, emotion is energy in motion, and it wants to be felt. And so if we allow ourselves to feel an emotion, it can move through our bodies and ground itself, and then we're free. Really, that's our path to freedom. If we don't allow ourselves to feel, it gets locked within the body somewhere, and then when a situation comes up that triggers that emotion, we start to feel really overwhelmed with life. And so really, the greatest gift that we can do is to feel. The greatest gift to ourselves first, and then to one another, is to be able to feel.
Oh man, this reminds me of something I learned when I was early on in this journey of, I guess, self-discovery. It is curious exploration. I was like, I started doing this work and I realized, holy moly, like, I can feel way better than I've been feeling. That's exciting. Starting to feel better, starting to really become aware of what's happening inside and release things, and starting to feel really good. And then I was told that the purpose is not to feel your best, to feel happy all the time. The purpose of this is to get better at feeling, because we're always going to be feeling things, and emotions are always going to come up, and it's the way that we learn to allow them and give them permission to move through that allows them to be transmuted and released from the body. And we do energy work, and so diving into that world has been amazing to see that, you know, emotions can truly be stuck in certain places of the body, and can, when the trigger comes up, we have an opportunity to feel them, to really feel them, that we might not have done before. And I can speak from a lifelong experience of not feeling, but being aware that I wasn't truly feeling. You know, my mind would be like, oh, you're scared, or oh, you're sad, but not letting the fullness of that emotion come into my body, and then so parts get stuck.
Yeah, they get stuck, and they change the frequency in the body, and so it ends up making the body a bit more, there's a word for it, incoherent, which can create illness in the body. And so that's why there's also a lot of illness in the world, because of holding on to emotion and the change of energy within the system. The body's always coming, like always bringing itself to a state of balance. It's just miraculous. It's so intelligent. But when we have a lot of emotion that we haven't felt, they can get stored within the body, and it actually changes it makes it more erratic, basically, like the vibration within the body. And so then the cells aren't communicating as well with one another, which can then lead to illness. And so, you know, there's so many reasons why we should feel. First of all, it helps us to feel more grounded and to be safer to be here in our bodies. And then second of all, it's better, it's our health and well-being. So feeling is it's to help us connect with ourselves, and also to connect with our health and well-being is another
And
reason
others.
and others and each other. Yeah, I remember there was a phase going through this and coming into self-discovery of like, whoa, so much going on inside, feeling so much emotion and feeling a bit overwhelmed by it because I didn't know how to transmute or manage it. And so I think in a little bit we'll go through a little exercise with you guys. But anyways, it was a bit erratic just coming into learning about everything that I was feeling, that when I was in social situations I'd be like, whoa, 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 it was a bit overwhelming. And so it's so key to learn how to ground the feelings so that when we are in social situations, we can feel safe, we can feel like we can relate to one another, and it's much easier to move through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. Oh, Cassidy's here. Yay. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you. So good to see you.
Yeah.
So let's do a little exercise.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're going to do an exercise because we talk a lot about feeling and moving emotion, and so let's do it together to teach you how. And we've just learned these things over the course of the years, and we'd love to gift it to you so that you can navigate these times in a better way. So I'll hand it over to you to share something.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, the first thing is always to come back to just bring my attention to my breath. And so wherever you are right now, just bringing your attention to your breath. That's something we can do no matter where we are. And just noticing the rise and fall of your breath. And starting to notice your body. Yes, Kopi. Starting to notice your body. You're here in your body. And bringing your attention down to your sits bones. Maybe you're sitting on the floor, maybe you're sitting on a chair, and just noticing any sensations that might be there. When we tune into the bottom of our feet, when we tune into our sits bones, when we're sitting, we're noticing that connection that we have, that support that we have from the earth. And bringing our awareness to those spaces helps remind us that we are supported and that we're safe. The earth's always going to be there to meet us. And then for learning to feel emotions, just starting to scan. For me, it's scanning the belly area, scanning up into the heart, and just feeling any sensations that might be present there. Noticing maybe some butterflies, maybe a tightness, maybe a heaviness, and starting to focus on that sensation. Would you like to take it?
Yeah, and just bringing your breath into wherever area that you're feeling the most sensation. So our body is so intelligent, and it's always speaking to us through sensations of pain or heat, tightness, whatever it might be that you're feeling in your body right now. Bringing your attention and your awareness to this space. And then taking a deep breath into the space. And continuing to breathe into wherever it is you're feeling the tension or the sensation. And breathing through. And just noticing any shifts as you continue to breathe. Noticing if that sensation is changing at all. And continuing to breathe. The breath is powerful medicine. As we breathe, we can transmute this energy, this sensation, and to help it move through and out of the body. As we breathe, we relax our nervous system, and we let go of whatever we're holding on to. Coming back to receive balance within the body. And so now just for a moment, scanning your body again, noticing if that sensation has changed. For myself, I had some pressure in my lower back, and as I breathed, I could feel that pressure starting to release. And now my lower back feels completely free of any pressure or tension. I feel a lot more calm and still within my body. And so gently opening your eyes, coming back together. It's pretty amazing how it only takes a few breaths, to come back in. And oftentimes when we're feeling tension in the body, it's because we're not feeling something. And so we're up in our heads so much.
All the time.
The mind it's beautiful, but when it's in control, it can be problematic. And so that's why we speak so much about coming into the body. Mm-hmm. The body is the safest place to be. And so when we move our attention from our minds into our bodies, we can start to feel what's going on. Mm-hmm. And when we feel, whatever we feel, we heal. Mm-hmm. So when we feel something and we breathe through it, we allow it to move. And then it doesn't create these catastrophic thoughts in our mind, because that energy in the body wants to be felt. It wants to be felt so that it can move. When it's not felt, it creates an incoherence, excuse the kitty cat, within the body. And then from that, it comes up into the mind and puts our body and our mind into an incoherent state where we start to be more erratic and start to feel more chaotic and confused or overwhelmed or whatever it might be. And so simply closing your eyes, bringing your attention into your body, feeling that sensation, allowing the sensation to move, creates harmony between the body and the mind. And when we're in that harmonious state, we're connected up into our higher brain learning centers. And when we're up here, compared to the fight or flight place, we can communicate with each other better, we can interact with the world better, and the world feels like a safer place to be because we're in our bodies. We're not so up in the mind. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to bring that practice to you guys to start to practice yourselves so that you can get more connected with your own bodies and so that you can feel more stable and centered in this world at this time especially.
Yeah, and when we learn how to handle and move energy within sometimes what is chaotic inside of us, then we're able to bring that out to the world. And by clearing this within us, we have better relationships, more connected to other people, and that's really the way forward. It feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel the world's different right now compared to when we first started. I feel like our voices have even changed. Oh. Like we're speaking a little softer and lower, and that is like you can see how that affects the outside world. You know, when we're speaking in a way that's more grounded, we feel safer around each other. You know, we can interact better with people that we feel safer around, and that their energy's not all like this because they're in their body and then they're safe to interact with. It's the same thing for ourselves. When our energy's like this, people can feel it. We can feel each other's energies. So the gift that we can give ourselves and each other is to come back home into the body, to feel our feelings, to really get to know what's going on inside, so that we can come into harmony inside. And when we're in harmony inside, it directly reflects outside, and our life starts to become more harmonious on the outside.
Yeah. And then when we're in the body and we're feeling things that as they come up and releasing them as they come up, then we're able to live a more heart-centered life. Because when we're living from that place of chronically suppressed emotions, we're not able to connect in with our heart, because there's so much armor there. There's so much protection. We're so used to shoving. Don't look at me. Don't look at what I'm feeling. I need to hide. It's that feeling that we need to hide, and really we don't. And growing up, we are sometimes taught to, you know, be quiet, to not have such big emotions, not to have such big outbursts. But emotions are why we're human.
Yeah.
We're in these bodies that create biochemical reactions inside the body that are essentially emotions. And the fact that we think that we're not supposed to feel emotions, or we're only supposed to feel the good emotions and not the bad emotions, when it's a biochemical reaction inside of our bodies. Like,
it's natural.
It's natural.
It's nature. It's our gift to feel, actually, because as we feel more, we're able to, the more we can feel all of the emotions within ourselves, the good, the bad, or whatever you want to call them, the kinder we are to each other, right? Because everybody's feeling something all the time. And I don't know, when I was all into positive thinking only, I would get really irritated when there was someone who was negative, because I actually wasn't in touch with my own emotions that were harder to feel within my own body. And so then I would judge people for being negative. But then as soon as I started to feel my own pain within my own body, whatever it was that I was, you know, hiding from myself, I have become a lot more compassionate towards other people that are feeling those things. I mean, it's a journey. I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect, but it definitely feels better to be able to feel my own stuff and then be kind to others who are going through things themselves.
Definitely.
When we don't feel those things, we fight with each other and get upset with each other. And so it's our birthright to feel. It's also our greatest power to feel, because in that way we can be more empathetic towards one another, kinder to one another, and kinder essentially to our world.
And on that note of tuning into the body and helping to come back into your body, we're so excited to be offering on November 11th. We're going to be doing a self-care morning, so a self-care yourself. And it's going to be a morning of yoga and meditation and breath work, and leaving with some journaling questions to take home. And it's all going to be online, and it's by donation. So give us a comment below if you're interested in that. It's open to anyone, all levels, beginners, you've never heard of yoga or breath work, to you do have some experience. We're excited to bring some new ways of looking at both of those practices to you. So please come join us if you're feeling like you could use a self-care reset, a way to connect in with your body, and some guidance with that.
We've got lots of exciting offerings. There's also this weekend we're doing a bioenergy healing course. So if anyone's interested in learning about energy healing, we have some spaces available. So if you'd like to join us for that, also comment in the comments below. We'd love to have you to share more with you guys about our process going through, getting to know ourselves, and then being able to work with energy to help others to get to know themselves and to come back into their own bodies and return their bodies back to health through feeling.
Health through feeling.
Health through feeling.
We
heal as we feel.
Gotta feel it to heal it.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let us know down below if you tried the little breathing process and what your experience was, if anything came up for you. We're hoping to make these more interactive, so coming with questions and things like that. So looking forward to diving deeper.
Yes.
As we go along this crazy journey. Hope everyone has a beautiful day.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye, guys.